Bienvenidos y bienvenidas a un programa más de Compases Torcidos. ¿Qué tal? ¿Os esperabais que no íbamos a volver? Pues sí, os dijimos que íbamos a abrir de vez en cuando en streaming. Y aquí estamos. Un lunes más, un lunes menos. Espero que merezca la pena la ocasión porque traemos hoy a nada más y nada menos que a Jo Quail. O sea, no vamos a hacer ni programa hoy, va a ser directamente la entrevista porque la verdad es que lo merece. Así que, ¿qué tal, Joan? ¿Cómo estás? Que sé que estás un poco enfadado por cierta cosa y ya me has pedido unos minutos. ¿Cómo estás, tío?
Estaba pensando en otra cosa que me ha pasado estas últimas semanas, por las cuales también estoy un poco enfadado, pero bueno.
Calma, calma.
Nada, todo para adelante. Nada, estoy bien. Un poco más relajado, más tranquilito. Descansando, entre comillas, porque como ya tengo menos cargas ahora mismo. Así que todo bien. ¿Qué tal estás pasando este periodo raro de pandemia en el que la gente hace cosas más o menos normales y salen contagiados?
Pues bueno. Pues la verdad que a mí me queda poco para vacunarme. O sea que mientras tanto no pudiera ningún festival, especialmente si lo patrocina Estrella Damm por algún patrón que no podemos observar. Pero vamos, fuera de eso, pues todo bien.
Sí, de eso quería
Cuéntanos,
yo.
cuéntanos, Joan.
No, quería
Cuéntanos,
hablar
¿qué ha
yo un
pasado?
poquito. A ver, como sabéis, ha montado el Cruilla y ha habido pues bastantes positivos en ese festival. Positivos que no solo han afectado a público, sino que también han afectado pues a músicos y tal. Y voy a transicionar para que se nos vean a los dos las caras. He perdido. He perdido el pulso de hacer los streams. Y nada, me ha parecido un poco como que han usado como la cultura como para hacer las pruebas estas de COVID y al final la cultura es la que apaga un poco los platos rotos. No sé si eres muy fan de los Simpsons, espero que sí, si no el programa acaba aquí ahora mismo.
A
Eh,
ver, Joan. Sí.
pero hay un capítulo en los
Soy
Simpsons,
chico Antena 3 de las dos.
de las dos. Eh, Hay un capítulo de los Simpsons en el que va un hombre al pueblo a venderles un monorraíl. Y entonces empiezan como a decirle dudas. Oye, ¿dónde trabajarán los descerebrados? Los contrataremos como empleados. Y se da una situación,
Empleados.
se da como una situación graciosa, ¿no? Pues me da un poco la sensación de que pasa lo mismo. Que al final el monorraíl ha sido el lema de cultura segura y cuando la gente, oye, que los test de antígenos no son como muy fiables si metes mucha gente en un festival. No pasa nada, vamos con todo, vamos. ¿Y qué pasó con el monorraíl? Pues que se escacharró, empezó a dar vueltas, aquello se desmadró y quien palmó la pasta y quien palmó todo fue al final la gente que acudió al monorraíl y tal. El tío se fue de rositas. Pues un poco me da la sensación que ha pasado lo mismo con el festival. Que al final la gente del festival, y no por personalizar en el festival en el que se ha liado todo, sino porque conocemos todos muchísimos otros festivales en los que se habría liado igual, si se hubiera dado esa colaboración público-privada para organizar este tipo de eventos. Que hubiera pasado algo parecido y al final pues que lo pague la gente de la cultura y se use el lema de cultura segura para meterte el caballito de Troya de vamos a ganar pastas puertas, nos da igual quién y cómo caiga, pues me parece bastante deleznable. Y eso es un poco el cabreo que traía yo hoy. No sé qué opinión tienes.
Pues esto es lo de siempre. La cultura yo creo que solo interesa pues cuando se puede sacar dinero. Cuando no se puede sacar dinero, pues la cultura nos da igual. Entonces, yo creo que el modelo este de macro festival, pues también hace que se concentre mucho en las ganancias. Si se concentra en las ganancias, pues al final salen beneficiados pues unos pocos. Entonces, eso también les interesa mantener ese modelo de negocio. Al final, los conciertos en salas que solo generan beneficios para muy pocas personas, si es que generan beneficios reales, eso no les interesa, ¿sabes? No interesa a mantenerlos, ¿sabes? A términos de, la cultura y tal. Entonces, no sé, es complicado de ver, pero yo creo que eso, que el dinero hace mucho.
Hmm.
Y es eso, cuando nos llenamos la boca con cultura, cuando realmente lo que nos importa el dinero es donde se produce esa especie de disonancia que no es bonita. Pero bueno, en cualquier caso, ¿vosotros qué tal estáis? ¿Cómo está el chat? Que no os escuchamos. ¿Qué tal estáis? ¿Todos bien? ¿Tenéis ganas de la entrevista?
Ni hoy ni
Que hace
nada.
mucho que no nos vemos.
Ni hoy ni
No,
nunca se escucha.
no has dicho ni hola al chat, tío.
Esto es vergonzoso, tío.
Se escucha todo bien, está todo bien con calor ya, tío. Es que a quien se le ocurre hacer un programa en julio, tío. Espero que tengáis aire acondicionado todos.
Encima hemos coincidido Alex y yo en la camiseta. O sea,
Es verdad, mira,
Que
mira.
le quería agradecer a Noirax que nos mandó la camiseta y tal, y con unos cuantos
Bueno, yo
discos,
la
pero
pagué, pero
siempre ha habido clases y clases.
no pasa nada.
Con unos buenos
Merecido,
disquitos.
merecida. Está muy guapa la camiseta.
Está bien perrona. Buenas noches, buenas noches. Pues nada, esto era un
Bueno,
poco lo que llaman en los periódicos y tal, la reflexión, ¿cómo lo llaman? Que comentan, joder, el editorial, eso es. Y tras el editorial, pues si te parece, pasamos un poco a presentar a Jo Quail. Quien no la conozca, pues es una chelista maravillosa de Reino
sí.
Unido.
Bueno, antes de que sigas, me
Dale,
gustaría
dale.
saber cuántos de aquí, un poco, es que también es la primera vez que hacemos esto y queremos ver un poco cómo va a funcionar el streaming. ¿Cuántos de aquí sabéis inglés como para que os interese la entrevista? Porque lo que no sabíamos es hasta qué punto nos interesa hacer una traducción simultánea o dejarla en inglés y luego a lo mejor ponerle subtítulos en YouTube, no sé. O sea, también un poco por vosotros, vuestros intereses. ¿Cómo lo veis? Yo creo que, a ver, es más fluido si lo hacemos entera en inglés del tirón, pero al mismo tiempo puede perder el interés, porque también la gracia supongo que es acercar a Jo Quail al público español, ¿sabes? Y poderla, ¿sabes? Conocer más de ella sin la barrera del idioma, ¿sabes? No sé, ¿qué pensáis?
No piensan nada. A ver, nosotros teníamos pensado como tirar en inglés y si vemos que tal, pues ponernos a escribir como locos por el chat o algo así, o ponernos a traducir durante la entrevista. Pero yo creo que podemos tirar en inglés, ¿eh?
Sí, yo creo que sí. Go ahead, es más fluido, sí. Sí, 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 yo creo que también. Vale, pues perfecto. Entonces, si queréis eso, ya puedes seguir, Joan, que te he cortado.
No, eso que comentaba, que Jo Quail pues lleva bastante tiempo sacando música en una fusión bastante interesante entre música con tintes muy ambientales, pero nacida desde la música clásica, que es realmente preciosa. Y qué mejor ejemplo que poner ahora un videoclip y estar en unos minutillos ya con Joana.
Claro.
¿Pa'lante?
Venga, pues os dejamos, sí, os dejamos con el videoclip. Disfrutadlo.
Hello everybody, here we are with Joanna from Jo Quail. Hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me to join you.
Thanks to you. How you doing? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, thank you. It's been very, very hot here today, and it's been quite a busy day. But all is well, and now I have a cup of tea and I'm relaxing. And are you guys doing okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in my house there are like 32 degrees, so
Oh my.
probably I'm melting right now, but it's okay.
Oh gosh.
Me too, me too.
Oh dear.
People are saying hi, Joanna, on the
Oh,
chat.
that's
So
nice. Hello, everybody.
it's our photographer,
Yeah.
by the way.
Fantastic.
Okay, so let's start. We are going to talk about your if you can, I don't know, introduce yourself, speak about a little bit about your trajectory, your influences. Maybe you can introduce yourself to our.
Sure. Sure.
Thank you.
Well, my name's Jo, and I'm from London. I play electric cello. I play both cellos, but the reason we're talking, I think, is because of the music that I write and the work I do with electric cello. So I am normally a soloist, and until March last year, I would tour regularly with bands. I would tour with Mono or Caspian, Amon Ra, supporting them, and then also making my own concerts. And so the music I play is instrumental, and it's sometimes people like it in post-rock field, sometimes people like it in metal field, and sometimes people like it in contemporary classical music field. So I'm very lucky that it seems to be accepted in lots of different areas. And that's it, really. I'm a mum, and what else can I tell you? I mean, life is busy and rewarding, in many ways. So
Joan, you want to ask or maybe?
Yeah, you can continue.
Okay, so I want this is a question that I want to do later, but that now that you mention, I think it's the right time because I want to talk about classical music and how can introduce in like these new subgenres, like I don't know, post metal, post rock. It's very interesting how bands, I don't know, like Godspeed You, Black Emperor, try to um,
To mix
yeah.
both styles. Yeah.
To mix the genres. It's very interesting. I mean, it's something, I suppose, that has been explored in many ways for several years, really. And I suppose you could probably trace it back to sort of very experimental music that was in the classical scene, and then some of the experimental recording techniques that were being used, perhaps in the 60s and things like that. I'm thinking of, Pink Floyd, particularly at the moment. But when it comes to the mixing of genres, I personally feel that in modern music, i.e. music that is being written today, not just the post-World War II music, current music today, there is an enormous fluidity between style and genre, and people feel a freedom to express themselves musically however they wish to. And as a result, you end up with some very, very interesting music. I mean, one of the prime examples would be some of the global music collaborations where you're starting to see aspects of conical or Indian classical music within a post-metal environment, or well, I mean, as you say, I mean, many of the bands enjoy using classical instrumentation to enhance either their sound or their stage craft, one or the other. There's, people, Metallica make arrangements and play with the symphony orchestras in America. There's many different ways that people are starting to bring classical instruments in. Personally, for me, the issue is the other way round, because the classical, if you like, classical music scene, certainly in the UK, is quite slow to fully embrace
New
yes, that's right, John. I mean, new obviously there've been music like a lot of electronic music in the modern classical scene, even people even using tape recorders even in the 60s to play classical music. George Crumb springs to mind, but generally speaking, this is very, very general. It's a little bit slower to welcome an extreme metal vocalist, for example, within an orchestral setting, whereas that's exactly what I write. So, it's fun when you move boundaries. My audiences have no boundaries musically. So why should I? That's the way I see it. I write what I want to write, and hopefully people like it. And if they don't, then hopefully they just have a nice day and like something else, So
yes, here in Spain now,
I think that's the point. Yes.
Here in Spain now we have like a trend in the, let's say, some famous or indie bands here in Spain that they are mixing like folklorical music with styles like rock, electronic, and something like that, and they are having such a success in the listeners and also in the critics. So I think, as we have seen with you, for example, the last recording of Panopticon, and we have seen to mix like in a more special way, like Silan Ardor and so on, that it's like a trend, not also here in Spain, but in all the Europe. And I wanted to ask you, how was your path? Because I think you started studying classical music, and then you started to make this kind of music. So how did you discovered all this world Or
Oh, it's a beautiful world. Well, but by accident, it wasn't my particular intention. And you're right. I studied classical music all the way through from when I was a very little child. So I began age 6 or something. I always had teachers who were, or music school, was very, very open-minded. So the concept of improvisation in music and composition was always present, even as very, very young kids. So in a way, when I went through the formal education system of, degree and postgrad and stuff, it actually, for me personally at that time, didn't really suit me very well, because it was very, very structured, which is fine. But for me, it was not so fine. So I felt quite alienated from where I felt music was. It felt at that time, age 18, 21, that music didn't belong to me anymore. I didn't feel I knew my place in it. So I stopped playing my cello. And then I started to play again because somebody was looking for a cellist for a lady called Rose McDowell, who was playing at the Whitby Goth Festival. And this was my first step back onto a stage in a non-classical environment. And it was a lot of fun, although I was very nervous. I will never forget that first concert. And then I started to experiment with electric cello, because it's much easier to perform with bands with an electric cello because of the direct signal, and you don't have to have the microphone and feedback and monitor problems, everything. And really, it was a very, very, very slow path. And I taught myself all about sound modeling, and I taught myself about looping, all these types of different things that I do now. I got here because of little steps, and each step something new I learned.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting, I think, because we want to know what are music for you.
What?
It's like a very
What is?
general question. What
Yeah,
is
sorry.
the music for you?
What is music?
Yeah.
Music, yeah.
What does it mean to me?
Yeah.
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 Or what place have music in your life, or something like that?
Well, it is my life as well. I mean, as I said to you before, okay, I am a mum, and I have a family life and everything, which is wonderful. Music is part of an enormous part of my life, which how can I explain this? I don't do music. It's like it's like having a conversation. If I play my cello, it's like I'm speaking to you, and that's it. It's so close. My cello music and me is so closely bound that there is no difference. When I write a piece of music, I'm telling you a story. It's up to you what your interpretation of this story is. But music is moving poetry, moving art. Breathing, living and breathing art.
Yeah.
And that's, for me, that's what it is. If that makes sense.
Yes, I think it is very interesting the vision that you are expressing, because I feel like the traditional way to see or to listen the cello is a way of like a supporting instrument, just in, for example, chamber music, or then you spoke about supporting some live bands in your beginnings in this kind different world, not in this close environment. So how did you choose to start like a solo project, like say Jo Quail is? And I think it was like a very brave decision.
Well, thank you. It was kind of by accident, really, but had some concerts booked, and the people I was going to play with were not available. This was many, many years ago, and I had the Boss RC20, the single channel loop station. And rather than cancelling the concert, I thought, well, I'll do it myself.
No.
But yes, because the thing is, what is good to remember is that, as you say, the cello exists certainly in many formats as a supporting bass instrument. However, there's an enormous repertoire of solo cello music. Obviously, the Bach unaccompanied cello suites are the prime example. There's the Kodai, there's many Casado, beautiful, beautiful sonatas for solo cello. So I know that it is possible to go onto a stage and entertain an audience with a solo acoustic cello. So my reasoning was, if I have an electric cello with a simple looping mechanism, how hard can it be? And actually, the piece you played, first of all, the Falconer, that was the very first piece I ever wrote using a loop station. Other thing that is for me that's a unique fact. When I was studying as a child, I told you I went to the Centre for Young Musicians, the music school, and there were always many cellists. So since I began to first play, I always was used to the sound of a cello ensemble, because there were too many cellos for the orchestra. So whoever wasn't playing in the orchestra would be part of a cello ensemble. So we were used to playing quartet, quintet, octet of cello. So I'm used to hearing this sound, many layers of cello. So it was very natural for me to try to recreate that. And it's just that these days it's gone a lot further in terms of electronic manipulation of sound and compositional technique. But yeah, to answer your question, well, it was just, I thought, well, I'll give that a go. I'll have a go at that.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I want to ask you as well is about the musical classical music and popular music, because I think, do you think it's difficult for normal people to see a show when it's, for example, your quartet? Because the tradition in rock and metal festival is hearing something like is catchy. I don't know, maybe even, I don't know, I think, for example, in Rolling Stones, because they create music. The rock is created by people who doesn't know a lot about music theory, so they try to create something catchy, something that enters in your mind. So for nowadays, for modern public, do you think it's difficult to see like more highly music? I think it's sound a very little classy. I don't know how to say classista in
I
English,
know,
but
yeah,
Classist.
it's classist, yeah,
Yeah.
elitist, perhaps.
Elitist.
I mean,
elitist.
I think, luckily, the people who are into the sorts of music that we collectively, the three of us, enjoy, are very broad-minded, and so I think that they are open to having a go at listening to something, if they don't know. It may be, for example, Amon Ra's audience, maybe the first time I walked onto stage with a cello, they thought, what's this all about? But this is an audience who won't then turn around and go to the bar. They'll stay, they'll listen, then they'll make their minds up. So I think generally people are very, very open to this. I mean, I don't know about the rock scene so much. I think there's plenty of fantastic musicians and brilliant songwriters within there, but they don't tend to use this type of instrumentation. I mean, the music that we're talking about here is, in a way, even if it's post-metal, it's much closer it's stylistically almost to classical, to kind of some of the heavy. You could relate some of it to late Beethoven or to Mahler in its intensity, and so. For me, there's no leap between the two. I think the audience I think we're just lucky that people are very, very broad-minded and happy to, if you like, experiment and give their time to something.
Maybe it's something that we have to work in the future, because I think that this is very related to the road band scene, for example, that they are very open-minded. Everyone who attends to a road band festival, it's something they are people that they don't they are open. I don't know, they are open-minded,
Yeah.
but I don't see the same people on, I don't know, a download festival or something like that. So
yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, I'm sure that there are crossover, of people, so to speak. But I mean, Roadburn, obviously, that's a great example, because exactly what you're talking about here will be put to the test next year with the commissioned piece that I've written for Roadburn, because that's entirely classical instrumentation, but exploring heaviness that's prevalent in music, but not from the perspective of necessarily instrumentation or volume. So it's a piece of music for many trombone players and big orchestral percussion and strings and piano and voice. But this is presented by Roadburn, and it's written for Roadburn by me. So we're going to see how that goes down. Hopefully people will enjoy it. Hopefully they'll give it their time. At least they don't have to like it, but if they can give the time to listen, that's what I think these audiences are wonderful for. So we shall have to see.
Yeah, you have spoken about the Roadburn, that is a festival that we love here in Compases Torcidos. That means twisted bars.
Cool.
Yeah. What you played, I think, in 2019 with Mono in Roadburn. And what does Roadburn means for you as a festival, as a expression of art?
Well, it's more than a festival. It's kind of a community and a way of life, almost. You know what I mean? It's extraordinary. I mean, the loyalty and the Roadburn is. It's a community. It's also a brand that people trust. So what I mean by that is, if Walter or Becky or somebody at Roadburn says, I'm listening to this, then people will go and listen to that, and they will trust it because they trust their judgment. They love the fact, I think, that it's much broader. I mean, Walter's prepared to, as we say, go out on a limb, to take a risk, if you like, if he believes in something musically. And I think that this is the community they've created, and this is I mean, it is like a way of life. I mean, it has people are passionate about it, enthused, and look at everyone pretending to be at fake Roadburn Festival. I mean, that was huge. That was an event in itself last year in 2020, and then this year with the online version, people they want to support this because they recognize how culturally important it is, I think.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes, everyone that we speak about the Roadburn Festival talks about the culture part of the festival. Do you think that the culture part of the festivals is kind of losing in some other environments?
I think that it's a fabulous idea that for the curation side, and being able to put someone in charge. I mean, it's a great pity that Emma's curation wasn't sort of played out in full, because that year was cancelled, because it was a fascinating lineup. I think you really get to know an artist very well when you're putting when you're listening to their ideas about what makes a concert, what makes a good event, if you know what I mean. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to talk a little bit about the scene in England because
Yes.
we always talk in this show. I think, sorry, we have to make a mandatory question in this show. That is, which word do you prefer to refer all the music stuff? Community or scene?
Oh, I think community.
Yeah, that's
I mean, yes, I think community. It's a good question though, because those two words imply very different. It's a very different emphasis, isn't it? Because if you belong to a community, there's much more feeling of inclusion and participation. If you belong to a scene, it somehow implies that it's a much more ambiguous or is somehow removed somehow. You're not part of the inner heart of everything.
okay. So now we want to, we are ready to talk about the community in England. So
Okay.
what do you think about the venues, the bands? I mean,
there are some incredibly important venues in England. Luckily, those who have been saved, who are still going. I'm thinking particularly now about the Black Heart in London, in Camden. The community of, let's call it alternative music, just to differentiate between, pop or house or whatever. There are obviously very well-established festivals that you've mentioned, but there is an enormous, I wouldn't say even underground. It's not underground. It's not buried. It's not hidden. But there's an enormous interest in new music, and people refer to this as the grassroots venue, and I don't agree with that term either, because it's not grassroots. It just happens to be presenting bands who are at an earlier stage in their career than other bands are. But there are venues like the Black Heart that give a performance space to musicians who are wanting to experiment and wanting to find their identity and find where they belong in the not genre, and where they can find their new, fresh take on the established scene. In this case, is the better word, actually. So that's my opinion of the scene in England, but I am not someone who goes to big concerts. Very rarely would I go to a big concert, because I prefer to go to see the smaller ones where, surprising moments and glorious moments happen, unexpected moments happen.
That's very important, because in Spain we have a big problem with that, because we don't have venues like exclusively for playing music, because every venue is for after 12 o'clock to, I don't know, dance, twerk and all this stuff. It's more like a party. It's not exclusively sorry, exclusively as a space for playing music. So that's very
it's a shame.
Different,
yeah, because the owners of the venue forced to the musicians to get out quickly, because we need to make more money.
Yes. I mean, we have this here as well, which is referred to, we laugh at this, but in the tour book it's always referred to the disco loadout, when you have to get out by 10:30 because there's like 3,000 crazy party goers wanting to come in.
Yeah, exactly.
but we are lucky, because we do have venues which are purposed for performance. And this is something I'm very grateful that these places exist and that they've managed to survive, although obviously, sadly, not all of them, but there are some key places which are still going, and perhaps new places will come as we hopefully begin to be able to present more live music, you know.
Yeah.
So after the pandemic.
We have a little surprise just right now in the program. So, hello, Amaya?
Wait. Yeah.
Amaya? We
Do you
can hear you.
us? You are mute or something. No.
No. Let me increase your volume.
Perdona, es que tengo... ¿Me escuchas?
Sí.
¿Vale?
Sí.
Perdona, es que tenía la... ¿Me estáis oyendo? Es que tengo... claro, tenía el programa, estaba escuchando el programa y a la vez tenía... Porque no me acuerdo de cómo se hacía esto, es como muy complicado todo. Ya se han ocupado, las neuronas de mi cerebro se han ocupado con cualquier otra cosa, en plan, no sé, cuando tengo que sacar la basura o algo así.
So, I don't know if it is the first time that you met. I don't think so.
I think we've crossed paths, but we've never actually met in person, and we've certainly never sat down and had a glass of wine together, which is long overdue. So
definitely, yeah. I'm trying to get used to this because I'm watching on Twitch and there's like a massive delay. So I guess I just have to ignore that people exist in their physical sense, and then they're just there talking.
Yeah,
it's fine. Yeah, sorry, what?
Sorry for Spanish. Amaya, puedes darle ahí a mirar stream o watch stream y puedes mirar el programa desde dentro de Discord. Y entonces puedes mutearte y puedes cerrar el streaming, si quieres.
¿Dónde?
Al lado de mi nombre. Joana a la derecha sale como watch stream o see stream o something like that.
Pero esto es en Discord.
Sí.
Ah, vale, espera. Wow. Boomer, ¿eh? Vale, espera. So, okay, well, there we go. Sorry about that. About old lady issues. Yeah, so I don't even remember what the question was. What can you repeat the question?
If it is the first time that you met, Jo said that that you talked to each other, but it was like you haven't ever met.
Yeah. We've just met over email, and I guess we almost met like at the beginning of last month as well, because I was in London for a couple of days. But yeah, we haven't had the chance yet. It's just everything's been very difficult.
I want a collaboration.
Yeah.
We have... It's going to be amazing because Amaya is, the project Mouth the Moth is amazing for us. I mean, the last year it was my top 3, I think.
Great.
Of albums. So if you want to collaborate, open.
We'd love to. I mean,
yeah, we kind of already have, because
yes.
Jo did this amazing project, which I don't know if you guys have heard. It's called the Parodos Cairn. Sorry.
Yeah.
And she asked for people to record all sorts of sounds for her, and then she built this incredible sound piece. Composition. I don't even know how to describe it. It's so amazing. But anyway, Jo can talk about her own song better than I can.
Well, it was wonderful though, because Amaya contributed, and what you sent to this piece was pivotal in the phrasing and the arrangement. So this was a piece of music created with 167 sound samples, and Amaya sent some bells and chimes, as well as her beautiful voice, of course. And many people sent things from all over the world. We had people rattling their car keys, and people recording a sound from the street, and all this type of thing. And I made this piece out of it, and it's on YouTube. I sold it to make money for Save Our Venues, which is what we were just talking about previously, and it was the most challenging and probably the most important work I think I've ever done, and the one I didn't play a single note on. But that was a real massive learning curve for me, and definitely something I'll use these techniques going forward, certainly.
I have linked this piece, the Paradox,
thank you.
the Paradox Cane in the chat, so everyone can look it and can listen.
And
thank you.
We have a question on the chat. Baila Rubia Producciones. Amaya knows.
Yeah, she's you will meet her, Jo. Very, very very soon, hopefully. But yeah, she's like such an important person in just music in Spain in general. Yeah, she's just like such a great promoter of music, and yeah. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
Great.
Yeah, the question is, do you care about what classical people think about your experiment?
Do you mean with experiment? Do you think what classical people think about the music that I play now?
Yeah.
Well, I no, I don't care. But what's a little bit frustrating is the fact that it's very difficult to hop the fence the other way. Now, if you are a classical musician and you move into the metal genre, if you're already known in the classical music scene here and you move into the metal or rock or whatever, you are welcomed by the metal or rock community. If you are more well known in the post-metal, post-rock community and you try to put on a couple of classical concerts, as I do, normally people are quite surprised. Not everybody, but it's exactly what we've been talking about through the interview, really. It's just a different set of parameters these people have to view and to judge by. But I personally, I don't, what people think doesn't bother me. What bothers me is if people can be generous enough to give some time to listen and then make an informed decision. That's all. Don't need to love it, don't need to hate it, but the worst is to have no opinion. But just, if don't dismiss it because it's an electric cello or because it's whatever, experimental vocal technique or whatever it is we're doing. Give time to listen. That's all I would ask. And
Okay, hope she answered the question. So, Amaya, do you have more questions?
No, but I do actually have quite to add to that, because in the last couple of months I've been working for this venue in Edinburgh. We're hoping to make it into an actual real venue. At the moment we're kind of in a warehouse. But we recently got a grant from Chamber Music Scotland to put on a set of gigs. And I booked 4 acts of classical musicians, all of whom are either also playing in metal bands like Ryland Glebe, who is a composer who sings live in the band Ashenspire. It's a black metal avant-garde band. And then I also booked a couple of people who are in the Conservatoire of Scotland, and they both played improvisation based kind of Baroque improvisation stuff, but all using like contemporary music motifs, kind of really, really aggressive for the typical classical repertoire, really unapologetic. They used, they're people who are very active as well in the Black Lives Matter movement, and they did the whole performance around a poem by Maya Angelou. So it was all very, very anti-classical, and I really see
very powerful.
I really see in like younger people coming straight out from the conservatory. I never know how to say it in English. Conservatoire. Sorry, conservatory is what you have in your house. For Spanish speakers, conservatorio is conservatoire, and conservatory es el porche.
Okay, yeah.
El porche de la casa.
Okay.
So actually, I mean, I'm personally trying to bridge that gap. I mean, I'm not a full conservatoire musician. I do have like classical training, but I didn't pursue like full conservatoire training. And I have done classical singing in the RCS as well, and with private teachers. And it's always something that I try to. I mean, I drink from that, but I don't want to be part of that. It's just so constrained. It takes all the artistry out of it. You're just like basically a vinyl that gets put in a vinyl player, right? Yeah. So I think there's like so much creativity and so much potential for all that extremely amazing talent just coming out from the conservatoire, not just composers and performers, but just everybody. And it is really something that I hope that it's going to be changing in the future. And like I think Jo is like a really, like one of these acts that are like super powerful and inspiring some of these younger generations as well. I mean, I'm not calling you not young generation. Obviously, you're also a young generation.
Do you know?
But you're
I'm
like,
all I mean. Mother. It's fine, don't worry.
All I mean is you didn't just like you just didn't come out from the conservatoire right now.
I agree with you. And funny enough, when I was graduating, had there been a me floating about who was 20 years older, I would have been very happy to meet that person, and this is what I try to do now when I work. I mean, I teach, I do workshops as well. I obviously do a lot of performance, but it's a very, very great privilege that people, quite a few people have started to play the cello after they've been to a concert, and they've kept in touch and they've told me about it. And one of them, she's just done her grade 3, and she's a lady, adult beginner. And the point, my prime purpose as a performing artist is to empower you and inspire you and pass the baton, because that is the point of art and music, is continue. We all are stand on someone else's shoulders, and we're all moving and flipping one and inspiring one another. Do you see what I mean? It's a fluidity. It's like a tide of inspiration, and it's every time I play, something happens that makes me realize there's so much more I don't know, and then I meet people and I listen to people speaking or performing, and I'm inspired by them. And this is the point, to me, the point of music and of performance.
Yeah. I want I don't know if you have any questions, Alex.
No. Continue.
Yeah. You said that as a musician you talk about the music like just to talk, to express some things, and now we have lived the same in all the countries, that is the pandemic situation. How kind of expression in music has translated all the experience in the pandemic period?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I mean, the primary response for me when the pandemic first hit was to be completely paralyzed musically, to be unable to create, unable to play, unable to do anything at all. You've asked me about me, so I'm answering, but I do take into account the fact that this affected every single person I know. So, it's not, I don't think, God, it's so awful for me. I know it's awful for everybody, but I tell you, my journey was this paralysis. Then as Amaya said, I created the Parados Cairn because I needed to connect with people, and that was the only way that we were able to connect, was through sound. Then when I started to write again, I'd just written The Cartographer, which was this huge piece for Roadburn. What was interesting to me was that I was writing very much for it's very intimate music, but not solo music. So I've written some duets for cello and female voice, cello and male voice, cello duets, trombone and cello, things which people have been recording at home for me, and I've been building these little EPs, and they're very, very, it's like an expression of what I would love if I was able to physically be speaking with somebody, but we couldn't be at this time. And so somehow the music was this reaching out, but being unable to truly connect. And this is very much reflected in what I've written. Now, I mean, I'm journeying again and writing music, which is probably a little bit more, if you like, bombastic, because I feel a little more confident about things. But in those early days, you know, it was it's almost like a supplication, somehow a prayer, you know.
Yeah. I feel more or less the same. So you are planning to release some music in 2022 or something like that?
Yes, very much so. I mean, I have the cartographer to release. I'm hoping that a record label will take this, but I won't jinx things by talking about it. But I also have this, you know, I've got these 3 EPs it will be, and then I'm currently in the middle of a new solo electric cello album. So like Exolve and Five Incantations, it was the next one of that. Which is quite exciting as well, because that whole album begins with this absolutely defiant kind of octave shifts all up and down the neck of the cello, the sort of thing that in the olden days I would never dream of writing that, because why the hell would you put yourself through that? But now I'm like, do you know what? That's my stage. Watch my octaves, you know. It's very funny.
I like to see you like this expressive way. I like to see you how you are expressing right now, because I feel that you in 2022 are going to have a lot of things to do. I think you have some festivals, you are going to have some tours. What do you think about, or what are your thoughts about these festivals and these tours that you are going to make in 2022?
Well, I hope obviously that they will be able to happen, and I hope that they will be able to happen in such a way that is that people feel safe and secure to attend them. And right now, I don't actually hope for anything else.
Okay.
I'm used to the rescheduling. I'm used to everything. If I have to, I will dig deeper again. Let's not think this way, but if people feel safe and secure and they would like to come to a concert, then I cannot wait to meet them in whatever country I'm playing in. And I really mean meet them. I mean, come and talk to me afterwards, because, my God, I've missed you, you know.
Yeah. We will. For sure.
Okay. We always have some short questions that you have to answer in like one word or so.
Oh my God. Okay.
It's very dynamic. So are you ready?
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay. So a Jo Quail show.
I beg your pardon?
A Jo Quail show.
A show that you have played that you remember
that
so
you remember
especially
or something like that.
The most recent one I did, which was the Five Incantations album launch. Again.
Okay. A song by Jo Quail.
Forge.
Okay. Some kind of funny story that you want to tell us? I don't know, in a gig or...
Yeah, I'll tell you a quick funny story. I went to support a band called Jambanai, who are fabulous. Went on stage, tuned up, broke my A string, took my cello off stage, changed my string, broke it in my haste, and then I had to go back on stage and do a 35-minute entirely improvised concert with only 3 strings.
Wow.
And luckily, it wasn't recorded.
Wow.
Yes, it was, oh my God, I had a massive glass of wine afterwards.
Wow.
Okay. An artist? Or band? Or...
Well, Amaya, obviously.
Oh. Another one, I'm here.
So, an album?
Dark Side of the Moon. Only
An
because we
album?
talked about...
An album that you like, or an album that have been important for you. I think I have bad internet right now. Yeah, perhaps. Can you? Sorry, can you hear me well?
I've lost you. I'm really sorry.
Yeah. It was my connection that it was not so good. I was asking
You
about.
sound like Daft Punk, dude. You sounded so much like Daft Punk.
Yeah. Sorry.
Please come back. There you go.
Yes, I can come back. A show that you went as an attender. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
No. It was not the question. Sorry. An album that was important for you.
I can't. I'm really sorry. Something like funny is going on here, although I could probably sample it.
One second.
Are you having this, Amaya?
Yeah. I'm just hearing Daft Punk inside.
Yeah, it's
I'm just,
pretty cool.
Like,
Yeah.
Should we should
I would totally
take
sample it.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if the stream, we'll take it off the stream, and then we'll have some fun. This will be our collaboration. We can give it to the boys later.
Yeah. Alex, if you can continue.
I quit. Okay. I was going to refresh, but I don't think it's my.
No,
has nothing
it
to
is
do with me. So.
Do you hear me?
I mean, we can hear your voice.
Yeah.
Only just it's choppy.
No, we have some kind of problem.
The same thing.
The same thing. Yeah. Can you hear me now? No.
Not really.
Oh. So this is a strange situation. Alex?
La de... La imagen
Oh.
de...
Qué cosa más rara. 1 second. Hello?
No.
Can you hear me now well?
It's still really
Okay.
it's still really choppy on your side.
Yeah.
I think there's like some serious internet issue with the connection.
I've got something telling me the stream has ended. Is that?
Yeah, I think they've maybe like stopped it and they're like going to try and relaunch it.
The stream has. Oh yeah, I think we have.
Joanne, can you actually type on the chat
Yes.
until you fix that? Okay. Yeah. Oh, it's a host. Yeah. Okay. Oh shit. Sorry. I just saw that. I didn't see that you. So how do you want me? How do you want me to? But I'm like my internet is abysmal. I'm on like phone data, so I don't know if I can.
Yes. I think now can you hear me well? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Nice. Sorry for
Maybe-
these problems in the
It's
internet.
all right.
Yeah.
Very funny.
I was asking for some album that was important for you, Joe.
An album that's important for me, yes, and I think I got round to saying to you that it was Dark Side of the Moon,
Oh,
but
yeah.
that was probably quite an obvious answer, but that's the one that sprung immediately to mind.
So it is a good album to answer. Yes, a show that you went as an attender.
Do you know, I'm so sorry, you've gone funny again. Can you try
No.
repeating that, please?
So that you go another.
No, we can. 1 second.
Gone again.
Maybe you can just type the questions,
Yeah.
and then she can just see it. I don't know if like this is still being streamed.
A show as an attender. Oh, okay. That was
No, but okay. Joe is now answering that Nine Inch Nails at Brixton Acad years ago. But
song I like. I can talk. You can hear me well. Fantastic. Okay. REO Speedwagon, Roll with the Changes. Fantastic.
yeah.
That's a song I like. I like a lot of songs though.
Okay.
Band I would like to play with. I like to play with Stephen Wilson.
Wow.
I'll just get in the queue. I think that he's not afraid to do what he likes, and to experiment with the music, to basically just feel very free and to do what he wants. And I really respect that very, very much in an artist. Band recommendation. This is, my mind is just completely blank, you know. Well, no, I tell you what, you should listen to Gravelines. You should absolutely listen to Gravelines, because I've just listened secretly to their new record, which is fantastic. So you listen to Gravelines.
Yeah.
A song to sing in the shower. Tom Petty won't back down. Isn't that obvious? Doesn't everyone sing that?
Yeah. Can you hear me better? No, okay. That's so strange. So
I can't hear you, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll always remember this interview forever. I hope you know that.
Probably.
It's like being interviewed by two adorable robotic chipmunks.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah.
So, we have questions from the last people who came again. So,
This is so strange. I can hear you well. I don't think.
I've got no idea what you're saying. I'm really sorry. Really sorry.
Wow, that's so strange. Oh my god. Fuck.
Oh my god.
You should just assume. You should just assume that nobody can hear. Well, we can hear you. I don't know if people.
Please, I can read aloud. Yes. Okay. I understand. I'm gonna read aloud what you're saying. Oh, yes. Let's give it a whirl. Two questions from the last guest.
Okay. we are writing. We are writing. Okay, the people can hear me in the stream, but you can't hear me well. So I feel now we are asking in the chat, in our internal chat, how is some questions because they can hear as well, no Alex and not me. So now Alex is asking the questions.
Jan,
Yeah.
no se oye. Deja que presente a Ahmed.
Yes.
I understand what you've just written. So you're going to ask me 2 questions that the last guest left, and then I'm going to leave 2 questions.
Yes.
Fabo, let's go for it.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Wait. I'm writing.
I can't wait to find out.
Yeah.
It's Brexit.
Yeah.
Which movie do you prefer, Bugs, Monsters Inc., or The Iron Giant? That's the question. I think I've only seen Monsters Inc., so it would have to be that one.
Yes.
Okay.
Nice choice.
Nice. Good.
Alex.
Do you want me to leave a question for your next guest?
The next one.
The next one is
This is
Monsters Inc. It's brilliant. What on earth will it be? Oh man.
The question is, if you can destroy a city, which one do you destroy and why? That's the question.
Okay, well, that's totally not my bag, but I would destroy the capital of Hades because I think that it's unnecessary. We have enough problems on Earth as it is without having hell floating around too.
Okay.
Is that any good?
Yeah.
It was somewhere, yes.
I asked the question in
Love
the
that there's some people in the comments secretly hoping for the obliteration of Madrid.
That's funny. Oh, yeah, we have enough problems in our world. Let's not destroy.
Yeah.
So someone is asking secretly. What do you think?
Okay, now it's your turn.
Oh, okay. That's yeah. Yeah, now is your turn to
Leave 2 questions.
to leave to the 2 questions, yeah, for the next guest.
Oh God. I wish that I'd known about this because I would have thought of some really fabulous questions. But the first question, this is something I always like to know about people, is what is your favourite dish to cook? That's what I always like to know.
That's a good question.
Okay, so that's my first question. And then my second question would be... where in the world is the place where you feel most relaxed? Where in the world is the place you feel most relaxed and why?
Yeah, that's such a good question.
Well, it's nice to know things like this, because they can be surprising answers.
Cool. I think I can't hear very well what's going on, so I'm just kind of guessing that I think Joanne is asking me to kind of finish the interview because they can't really do it. So yeah, on my added jobs for the day, it's apparently now interview. So let it. this is a surprisingly dangerous situation that they've placed me in. But I guess I'm going to continue with the politically correct mood. And yeah, so they just wanted to apologize for all the technical issues. To be honest, I don't think this has happened before.
Absolutely,
I've seen
no problem.
Yeah, I've seen so many of their programs, and it must be Alex was commenting before on Twitter that his neighbors were like drilling at 9 p.m. And he was going. So maybe it's like some weird drill interference, you know?
Yeah. Well, these things happen, but you know, it was a real pleasure to speak to Alex and Joanna, and obviously to you too, Maya, prior to it becoming untenable. So thank you.
I feel a bit like a fourth wheel, but like in a tricycle, you know?
No, it was no, don't be silly. It was beautiful. It was lovely. It was lovely to have your company. It was a real, you know, thank you very much for it was thanks to you that this introduction happened. So, you know, I'm waving my arms around here, but of course you can't see me. But anyway, thank you. So it was wonderful chat.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you everybody in the chat. And so sorry for all the issues. Love hearts indeed. Very delayed love hearts as I see it on the there we go.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And cheers guys. Bye-bye.
Bye everybody. Bye.
Okay, so thank you for attending this program. It has been a pleasure to have Jo here in Compases Torcidos. Sorry for all the technical issues that we have had. You can follow us in our social networks here in Instagram and also in Twitter, and here is our email. We are Alex and Joannakin. We would like to thank you for attending this program, for supporting us, and I think this was a special program because it was the first one in English. I think it went better than we thought in the beginning, but the technical issues was a hard time. So thank you everybody for attending today. We will bring you more programs in September or in October, because now we are preparing something bigger than not only this program in Twitch. So please follow us, and thank you all the people that supports this program. For finishing, we are going to let you with a band from here from Spain called Fruteria Toñi. They are so good, and we will see you in some months. Please follow the channel, follow us in our social networks, and have a nice week. Bye bye.